What's up guys, my name's Prahlad. I like making movies. I'm here to bring you 8 unique tips to help improve your next cinematic travel film. Tip number 1, pick a song, preferably a song that you like. Listen to that song on repeat again and again, and try visualize your video playing to that song. This is really helpful when planning a story or planning shots ahead of time before you've even started filming your travel film. I did this with a song called Electric Powwow Drum by A Tribe Called Red. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to check out our Bali video. Tip number 2, spend the same amount of time on your sound edit as you would on your picture edit. Now hear me out. The best travel films out there have these subtle sound effects in each and every shot that really enhances the video. It would be a completely different video if it didn't have that sound design. George Lucas himself said that sound and music is 50% of the video, and I think some directors say it's like 70%, but that's a bit extreme. If you want to get a good idea for good sound design in travel films, then check out Brandon Lee or Tim Kellner. Their travel films have a plethora of sound design. Tip number 3, make videos about the journey of your character. Or if you don't want it to focus on yourself, then put the focus on the country, the people, or the culture. Tip number 4, if you really can't do tip number 3, then you need to make sure each and every one of your shots is as diverse and interesting as possible. You need to be able to cut out all of the garbage from your edit, even if that means shortening your 6-minute video to a 1-minute video. The idea is that your video should showcase only the best, most aesthetically pleasing shots. Tip number 5, you can create interest by introducing motion into your shots. You can do this by using a gimbal or a Steadicam, flying a drone. What was the other one? You could film a hyperlapse or at least shoot out of a moving vehicle. Tip number 6, it can sometimes be useful to not time every single cut to the rhythm of your music, as it can make your editing really predictable. Instead, you should try and mix it up. Make some cuts in between the beats of the music to try and keep the viewer interested. Go back to the song that you chose for the video and replace it completely with a different song. Observe how it plays differently with the cuts compared to the original song. I mean, do this for experimental purposes only. Tip number 7. When taking shots of people by themselves, you can sometimes ask them to stare directly into the camera. This gives the illusion of almost like a moving portrait where the character's eyes meet the viewer. When you're shooting multiple people, you can even ask everyone else to turn away except for one person. And it almost allows a window for the viewer to enter the scene by making a connection between that one person who's looking back at them. Tip number 8, try to avoid using shallow depth of field all the time. Now, this is a hypocrite speaking to you because I love using shallow depth of field, but some of the greatest shots in film history have such deep depth of field where everything is in focus, the background, the foreground. You're making a travel film, so you're filming the surroundings around you. There's no point having all of those surroundings out of focus. In Hollywood on Super 35mm sensors, directors rarely shoot above f4. In fact, in broad daylight, Roger Deakins usually shoots around f4 to f8. The time when you should use a shallow depth of field is when you want the viewer to focus on a very specific thing in the frame. And there you have it, 8 unique tips to improve your cinematic travel films. I hope you learned something new today, and I hope to see you in the next one, if I haven't given up YouTube already.